All right, you guys are hot.
Hot, I love it. It is Hangin' with Huber, and I am very excited. Thank you for taking the time and coming. Don Geronimo from the infamous Don and Mike show. I used to listen to the Don and Mike show, laugh my ass off, really enjoyed it. Were you a funny kid? Did you have a funny dad? Did you have a funny uncle, grandfather?
No, I did not. I was a smart ass in school, like a lot of people were. Probably the best example of my personality was I went to Magruder High School in Rockville. And my junior year, which is the year I got out because I had enough credits to graduate, worked full-time in radio, but I played football, and I was the center of the football team. And the quarterback came up, and we were in practice and put his hands and really down set, and I farted. Now, I did not mean to, but it got a big laugh, and I was super proud of myself. Uh-huh. And the coach, Andy Sidoric, came over and said, "Get back in your stance and do that again." And I was like, "What?" And I said, "I can't fart." And it didn't matter. He kicked me in the ass with his cleats. Also, one time during the summer, we were having 2 practices a day. It's hot as hell. And I was saying something like, "I hate the hot weather so much. I love the cold weather, coach." And he's like, "Shut up. Keep running. Let's just fast forward to November. It's cold. We're playing on dirt outside. It's freezing. I'm on my way out to practice, and I feel this on the back of my neck. He grabs me, and he goes, "Hey, what are you doing?" I said, "I'm going to practice." He says, "No, take that sweatshirt off. Take that jersey off. Go put a mesh jersey on." I go, "Why?" "Because you like it cold."
Your words coming back to haunt you.
I was that guy. I was that guy. I would say something in class to get a laugh. Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, I told the story on there not too long ago about the first time I remembered getting a laugh from a stranger. I was at a movie theater, and I was just cutting it up. We were seeing Wayne's World. It had to be 1991, 94, whenever that came out. And I remember just cutting it up, and I remember realizing the people in front of us were paying attention to what we were saying, and that when I did the right thing, they laughed. It was intoxicating, like to the point where I'm sitting here right now, and I can remember that. I mean, it was that impactful, and I just had that desire to get a laugh ever since. And I chose radio to do that. I don't know why. I mean, I loved stand-up. I loved watching funny films and stuff. Did you pick radio?
Yeah, I loved radio from the time that I was a kid. I would have my own top 40 list, and I would rank the records every week, and I would go to a place where there's a jukebox, and I would buy the old records when they changed them out, because I got them for a nickel each.
Nice.
And I had my own pretend radio station. I mean, like most kids did. I had 2 cassette recorders, one with jingles, one with commercials. I had my 2 turntables set up. And the thing is, the whole time I was in school, from about the time I was 13, I knew that's what I wanted to do.
That's awesome.
So I got my first job working the God Squad at Winks in Rockville when I was 14. And that's when I knew it. That's when I knew I can do this. I'm for being a 14-year-old, I was pretty good at it. I then got another job, and that summer of 74, I went to summer school to get enough credits to graduate.
Wow.
So the beginning of my junior year, I went to my principal and I said, "It only takes 22 credits to graduate. I have 24. I said, "I got offered a job in Stevens Point, Wisconsin. I was 16 years old. He said, "Well, if your parents will let you move, I'll let you out of school."
That's wild.
My parents, thank God, the worst parents in the world, were like, "See you later, alligator."
Can you imagine that conversation in 2025?
No
way.
My son is 40 now, and there was no way that I would have done any of the things that my parents did.
So you pack up from Rockville. You moved to Wisconsin to do radio at 16 years old.
At 16. And by the time I was 18, I was working in New York City.
That's unbelievable career trajectory.
Yeah, I went from this little station in Wisconsin to WROK in Rockford, Illinois, to 13Q in Pittsburgh. And I was there about 6 months, and I got called and offered a job at 99X in New York. Now, to me, radio was the easiest thing. I was like, my dumb friends are still in high school, and I'm making $45,000 a year doing a 3-hour shift in New York. Of course, because I was a stupid kid, I blew it all up. And what happened was, it was 99X, New York, WXLO, and there were board operators. And you could not touch a piece of equipment.
So it was like a union shop. Correct. Or whatever. The jocks talked, and the engineers ran everything else.
You had nothing. Yeah. You went like that for your mic, like that to kill it. They had to record bits for you. Well, I was recording a phone bit. I needed him to edit it. And he was so slow, we were never going to make it. Finally, I went around the corner, and I just said, "Listen," I got out the old marker for the tape, and I said, right here, edit, tape, good, done. The next day, I got called in and fired.
Wow.
That's the number one directive. You cannot touch the equipment. And I was a stupid kid and thought, well, it's okay. I'll just go get another great job.
Yeah. As if they were handing out New York radio jobs to 18-year-olds all over the place.
Right.
Yeah.
I found out right away that, radio can be a tough business. My next job was in Evansville, Indiana.
Okay. Little different metropolitan area than New York.
And I got fired there on the day before Thanksgiving because I was accused of stealing candy bars. They had like this little honor system in the kitchen area and a little box of candy bars, and somebody told them I was going in there and eating the candy bars and not putting a quarter in. Now, I would cop to it if I had done it.
Right.
God knows I've done all kinds of bad stuff, but I didn't do it. And they still said, well, we heard it was you. And also there was something at the time called a Watts line that they had in the studio. It was before it was 800 numbers. It was a special number you could use and call anywhere in the country. Well, it was in the studio. So I would call my disc jockey friends and have them do bits with me. Then they said those calls cost us money. So between the candy bars and the phone calls, you're fired.
You cost them too much money. Yeah.
So now it's Thanksgiving. I'm in an apartment with the power turned off.
Oh, my God.
I have no telephone. I'm having to go to get a change for payphone to call PDs to say, can I please send you a tape? So this is one of the weird things that happened to me. I got a call from Dan Mason, who was the program director at WPGC in 1978. He flew me in and he said, son, you're the best nighttime disc jockey in America. I would love to hire you. You're from here. I want to hire you, but you can't stay anywhere more than a year. You have to show me that you're not a floater. Now go do that and I'll hire you. And he flew me back.
Whoa.
I'm like, what the hell is...
So you had to go get it. The directive was you have to get a job and keep it for more than a year, and then he'll hire you.
Right. Well, I did go get a job in Providence, Rhode Island, which sucked for a year and a half at Pro FM.
And were you in touch with him through this process? No, hey, I made it 6 months, made it 8 months.
In this time, he's gone.
Okay. So the guy who promised you your gig up and goes.
He's gone. So now I'm working in Detroit at WDRQ in 1980, and Scott Shannon calls me.
Yeah, legendary radio broadcaster Scott Shannon.
Right.
Yeah.
And this is before the Q105 Morning Zoo and all that. He was just super Shan. And I had never met a radio guy or a program director like him before who understood what it was like to be a disc jockey, understood everything you were going through. He flew me in and he hired me on the spot. It was no BS like with Dan.
Right.
And Dan is a dear friend of mine to this day, and I love him and respect him. But I got the job with Shannon in 1 second, and we had immediate success. He told me, you're going to do a morning show at night. We didn't really keep count of the records.
Right.
It was keep the phones going. Shannon was in the other room. Sometimes he would call in and do bits. Was the most fun I ever had. Uncle Johnny was on Q107 at the time and had like a 60 share of teens or something. We killed him in 2 books.
Oh, man.
We killed him. Scott Shannon is the greatest. Now, I've had the pleasure of working for, Scott Shannon, John Guerin, WLS, Dan Mason, who was my boss then for 20 years at CBS. So many smart people I've learned so much from, but no more than Scott Shannon.
I have heard nothing but amazing things about this guy. Someone I work with currently worked with him and screams the same praises that you are.
I'll tell you one great Shannon story. He loved being on the air. He's a PD. So one night I was sick and he was doing the show. And the station was set up that if you wanted to record phone calls, you put the mic in audition, and that's how you record them. So I'm at home listening to him, and he's got the song on the air is I Can't Smile Without You by Barry Manilow. And all I hear is his part of the conversation where he says, because he's on a hotline with somebody, and he says, hey, boy, yeah. He says, I can do this fucking show better than Geronimo. So I hear this, and I call him up on the hotline. I say, Shan, that was on the air. He's like, oh, my God. Come down. I don't care if you're sick. Come down here right now. I'm in my car driving to the station. I'm sick. And I hear him get on the air and say, WPGC, Super Shannon for Don. We got some kind of she-bee interference happening tonight.
Blaming it on the truckers.
So we waited till 10 o'clock. And then, I'm sure he won't mind me saying this, what the hell's 45 years ago.
Right. I don't know. How long is the statute of limitations on those things? I don't know. All right.
We broke into the locked room where the station had the tape that went
the logger
that went 1 inch a minute. It was slow. We broke in there and we took that tape off, so there was no proof that ever happened.
I love stories about the vintage days of radio, and it sounds like you were truly a lover of the format of radio. And to be honest, don't take this the wrong way. Honest, that's a bit of a surprise to me, because what I loved about the Don and Mike show when I discovered it was kind of its irreverence for the radio format.
That is because I grew out of it almost. I still love top 40 radio, but the type of top 40 radio that I love, no one does it.
It's gone.
They don't talk over the music. You don't have jingles. You don't do bits. There's no forward momentum, any of that jazz.
Right.
And once I started to transition into doing a morning show when I was in Chicago at B96, they at first said like 12 records an hour, and that didn't work. And then we started fighting about the records. We got down like 6 records an hour, and I realized what I am saying, in my opinion, was better than playing Karma Chameleon for the 8,000th time.
And that's what I think is so great about radio. Radio can be your companion on your way to work. It can be somebody who is talking to you just after a breakup. Like, it can be that. It's an intimate experience, because a lot of times you're alone in your car. And that's what I think is so great about it.
You nailed it. That's exactly the experience. And that's what, I've had a real good career in radio. I'm not done. But the most gratifying thing I get is when I meet someone and they're a fan, and they're saying to you, "Hey, I like the Don and Mike show." But when they say, my dog died, my grandmother died, I lost my job that day, and you guys were doing something where you were doing the Highway Love Connection, and it just took me out of it.
Yeah,
that's the best, because you're right. Radio is the best one-on-one way to communicate with someone, and if people think that they know you, if you let enough of yourself go on the air, the good and more importantly, the bad, they will love you and stick with you and be loyal.
It's so perfect that you said that. I mean, I can show you this if you want. You lived so much of your life on the radio. I knew Bart's name. I knew Frida. I knew where you vacationed. I knew everything about you. And I never had met you until 10 minutes ago when you walked in this door here.
Right.
And it was one of the inspirations for me to do it. Like, as we sit here, my dog is in a vet. He's having an operation that he may or may not live through. And I did the morning show this morning. And you know what my first break was? Exactly what I just said to you, and how I felt about it and how my kids reacted to it. And I'm like, I'm not just going to phone in this show and pretend like I'm going to make yucks to the news while this is going on in my life and not let anybody know that's going on.
Absolutely. And the thing that's changed now is all the things that I used to do that PDs would yell at me about.
Right.
Like at first, why do you talk about your life all the time? Why do you put your wife on there? Why do you put your kid on there? If your dog took a shit in the front yard, who cares?
Right.
They would never realize that's how you
That's the magic.
Make the bond with people.
That's
now,
the magic.
That's what they want you to do.
Yeah.
Now, all the stuff that I used to get yelled for, they want people to do. And this generation of radio is unable to do that. And I think part of it is what you said. You have to show the good and the bad. That's why I would always have my wife on the air.
Yeah.
Because she would, and I didn't have her there as the voice of reason or anything else. It was a natural thing.
Sure.
When she would call in, I didn't care what happened.
Right.
I mean, I don't mean that to be flippant.
No, I totally understand what you mean.
Whatever it went with, because I realized that's the only way that we're going to hold on to people.
Yeah.
And, and Mike O'Mara bought into that, and not as much as me, but
it's funny.
Pulling stuff out of Mike was fun after a while.
And he not so much an open book, but I knew plenty about him too. You were definitely more the open book. And I used to tell people when I would try to talk them into listening to the show, because when I find something I love to share it. I love to tell everybody about it, whether it's a movie, a show, a song, whatever. And I would tell people, don't take the first day as the judgment of the show, because the beauty of the show was you let people inside, and there were inside jokes, and it was like a family or a club or whatever. And you didn't get that day one. But what was great about it, there was enough impressions, goofiness, or whatever, that even if it was day one, there were laughs there to hook you. And you understood that these guys are laughing at each other, and it's real and it's genuine. Maybe I don't understand what they're laughing about yet, but I want to find out.
What I had thought was, when we started the Don and Mike show, when I was in Chicago, was hired at WLS, and John Guerin, the program director, played my air check at a jock meeting before I got there and said, I've just hired this guy from LA. You should all try to sound like him. Now imagine.
That's like the parents saying, can't you be more like your brother?
All my heroes, Larry Lujak, Bob Surratt, John Landecker, Fred Winston, they all heard this. But so did Steve Dahl, who was on the FM at the time. And Steve Dahl was like Howard Stern. But this was in 1981. I didn't realize by the time I got to town, He had already played my air check on the air. Said my real name is not Don Geronimo.
Just lambasted.
Said what a hack I was, what a bad DJ I was, and everybody should know as soon as I get on the air, that's not my real name, and you better call me and tell me. I did my first shift on WLS FM, and I did not know this, right? And I thought, my shit doesn't stink. Look at, I got 25 lines ran, and they were all waiting
just to roast you,
to give me crap. But that was a great learning experience.
Sure,
working at that station with those guys. One of my greatest stories about Larry Lujak, Larry Lujak, WLS super jock, morning guy forever. One night I was doing the overnight show on a weekend for whatever reason. Because my first job I got there was swing and fill-in, because that was a full-time position. Guys were always going on vacation. So it's my second week there. They had me doing the overnight show. And Larry's coming in at 6. And I said, all right, Larry Lujak coming up next. See you tomorrow at WLS. And this was on a Friday. And he worked on Saturday morning. So when you left the studio, there was an airlock, and the jock who was in the studio in a glass window right in front of you in the lobby had to buzz you out. I got out there, he wouldn't buzz me out. He turned around and gave me the finger. Then he said on the intercom, "I'm not letting you out until you call me Super Jock." I was like, "Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? No, forget. I'm giving him the finger. He's like, "Suit yourself." Finally, an hour later. Are you ready? I said, yes, Super Jock. He let me out.
That's absolutely hilarious. Now,
and these were all guys I listened to.
Right, and that's the thing.
When I was a teenager. I mean, these were the guys that John Landecker, I emulated him.
Influences.
Every day I was on the radio. Right. Every single day. And all of a sudden I'm working at the same station as him. And the most famous disc jockey of all of them hated me.
Right.
Hated me because I was presented as a threat. By
nothing you did, by the way.
No.
So I know this is a terrible question. This is like interviewing Band 101. Don't ask them where they got the name. But I do love DJ stories of where your professional name came from. Usually they're stupid. Yeah.
It's the simplest thing in the world. That second or third station I ever worked at, I was still in high school. A junior, was in Rockford, Illinois, WYFE, Wife FM. And they had a disc jockey, and his name was Don Gerard. And they said, he got fired about a year ago. You'll use his name because we had a jingle.
They didn't want to. They already paid for the jingle package.
So my program director, Brother Michael, told me we're going to do this until...
That's the most radio thing I've ever heard, by the way. We already paid for this jingle package, so you got to change your name.
5 minutes before we go on the air. He said to me, I don't like that. I don't want you... That's bad. He just said, try Don Geronimo. I said, sure. Okay. Why not?
Yeah.
And everybody asked, why did you use that name? I don't know. I mean, when I came up, every disc jockey had a fake name.
Right.
That's why on the Don and Mike show, I would, get these super sleuths that would call me I know your real name.
Right.
Of course you do, ass. I have a jingle. Michael Source.
Right.
I mean, it was no surprise that my name was Mike. Buzz Burbank's name was Mike.
Yeah, it was 3 Mikes.
And Mike's name was Mike. I mean, and again, what I learned through all these hard knock situations, like being with Steve Dahl, the one thing I learned from him was, even though he treated me like shit, he did not care. He put anything on the air. He was the ultimate doing what we're talking about.
Yeah.
To the extent where he would get drunk and be in the studio and laying on a couch. He had a couch in the studio. Gary Meyer would be sitting at the board, and Dahl's laying on the couch going, I mean, it was crazy, but I took parts of that.
Sure.
I took the parts of Steve Dahl, and I don't mind saying that. I stole this from him. He put his wife on the air, and I never heard anything like it. Now, they flat out, he didn't do it like I did. They were the Bickersons. They were screaming and yelling about his drinking and everything else, but it was real. And I could see the people liked Steve, even though he was a total ass.
Right.
They liked him. And I thought,
or at least were compelled enough to listen. Whether they liked him or not really doesn't matter, because they wanted to hear what he had to say.
And I always thought the only thing that's going to set me apart and then Mike and I apart from everyone else was we couldn't be jive like the rest. I mean, and the thing is, I loved radio, and this is why I was a hypocrite. All the time you're talking about when, the whole format of Don and Mike was let's make fun of radio, and radio's a jive business. Don't believe it. At the same time, I'm playing top 40 jingles on my show.
Sure.
On a talk show.
Sure.
Don and Mike, WJFK, they're WLS jingles. I'm playing touch tones. I'm using all the stuff from top 40 radio that I make fun of. At the same time, I'm using
actually doing it. Yeah. I mean, and that was your foundation. I mean, that's where you came from, and you use what you know, and you guys did it in a way, like you said, that is now emulated and is now the norm. radio still exists. There are all kinds of studies out there. It still touches 80% of people, this and that. But there's more and more of the, on-demand listening, more and more of these podcasts. Do you have any interest in that side of it? Do you still just love radio for what it is?
I love the immediacy of radio. Like I like doing this with you. This is nice. This is fun. You should do it on your radio show, dude.
Right.
I mean, because that still is the goal as far as I'm concerned. And when I worked for iHeart, one of the big problems I had with them was none of the focus was ever listen to 100.3.
Right.
The focus was always go to the iHeart app. Go to the app. They'll find something else. And it drove me nuts. We're running commercials.
Pushing people away from the product you're putting out as we speak. Right.
I'm running commercials for Wash FM
right.
during my show. I'm running a commercial for Elliott during my show.
Right.
And they said, well, they have to run your commercials too. And I said, well, that doesn't make it any less stupid. I mean, there's a reason that you don't see ABC promos on CBS TV.
Of course.
Eventually they will. I mean, to a certain extent on cable TV.
Yeah, you can already get stuff for podcasts, for streaming services or whatever that aren't the network they're looking at. And who knows? I mean, if the money's green, they're going to take it.
I'm still a big believer in radio, and I'm not done yet. So you should honestly hire me. You should put me on your afternoon show, buddy, and see what happens. Because people, I'll tell you this, I know this. People are dying to be entertained.
Yeah.
And I think there's something about listening to something live on the radio when you know the guy's working without a net.
I think the live element is why radio is still here. And then smart owners and smart companies are letting jocks talk more because that's the connection. You look at, even forever, the number one day part, usually the flagship of the rest of the day is the morning show where the personalities get to do the most stuff.
Right. Although that's changing too. I mean, afternoons now can be as listened to as mornings. With people.
Well, yeah, and you guys were afternoons at JFK, and that is very unique. And I kind of didn't think about that again until right now. I mean, obviously I knew that, but do you think there was a different vibe being in the afternoon than there was in the morning?
Yeah, well, first off, you know this. We weren't dead-ass tired every day.
Right.
Every day. I mean, it was a privilege to be able to get up and not have to go first thing in the morning to work, to get up and actually do prep in the morning, go to the station, prep up, have lunch, do the show.
It's so funny. We talk all the time. It's like I'm in the morning supposed to talk about what happened on the Grammys the night before or the score of the game the night before, all those things that I can't even stay up and watch. So you get up early, you go to the internet, you go to the news sources and you just hear about it. But I didn't get to live it the way my listeners got to live it. But I got to beat them to the studio so that I can talk about it.
And that's the answer. And that's what you tell your listeners on the air is that I only saw a clip of this because guess what? I got to go to bed at 7 o'clock.
Right. It's exactly what we do.
And once they understand that, they're okay with it. And then I think the listeners on some level, at least doing mornings, realize you're making some sort of a sacrifice. It's a great gig. You love doing it. But
I got to be honest, I think it's tougher to get ratings in the afternoon because in the morning when you're on the way to work, you're on their time. You're on work's time because you've already left your house. And it's like, when I get there, I'll get there, man. This stop and go traffic. On the way home, it's on their time. They're ready to get home. Like the whistle's blown. I'm out the door. So if they're spending time with you, you can keep them in that driveway before they go in their house to finish a break. That's a high compliment.
I agree. And that's why I think in some ways it was easier because there's no competition in the afternoon as far as real personality. Our competition was always WTOP.
The news.
Right. And once 9/11 happened, they took a huge position in the market. And, even with that, we were still number one, 12 plus. We beat them consistently in the afternoon just by being goofy.
Now, D.C., obviously 40 minutes south of Baltimore. You're from Rockville. Obviously, you went all over the place. Did Baltimore factor into your world at all?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Are you kidding me? I mean, I came to Orioles games when I was a kid. I grew up in Rockville. I still live in Montgomery County. And Baltimore to me we were always on in Baltimore. The Don and Mike show was always on. We were on AM 1300 for a while.
I remember trying to tune it in.
And then they put us on FM and things were great. I mean, we had great times in Baltimore. One of our best times. And this is back when DC and Baltimore still hated each other. And we were up there with AM 1300 for the Orioles opening day. And we're whatever it was, whatever bar across.
Probably Pickles.
Pickles. There you go with a green front, right? Anyway, people started. You're from DC. Boo, boo. You suck. They actually ran us out of the bar, and we had to go broadcast from up on the second level.
That's wild.
Yelling at people from a balcony like, screw you.
That sounds Baltimore. Yeah, that tracks. Absolutely
sure is.
Does. Yeah.
How about that cow?
You know, on he's best there.
O's. Come on, O's.
Well, look, man, it is an absolute travesty that you're not on the airwaves somewhere.
Well, wouldn't it be something if there was a program director
I know,
that was sitting right across from?
I'll try to call him.
And this guy would say, you know what? I don't know what we're running in the afternoon right now, Don, but you got to be better than that. No offense to whatever low-level employee you've got playing the same stack of records every day, but for God's sakes, and the thing is, in the afternoon, like I say, I think it's easier because it's not like when you're on in the morning, you've got all those other stations to deal with.
Let's
just talk about your radio, not even podcast or satellite, just radio. In the afternoon, what is there? Yeah, stand by for another 8 songs in a row. And
commercial-free block.
And radio stations that kill themselves by saying, more music in 4 minutes when they've already played 6 minutes of a stop sign. Anyway, I still love radio, and I'm still hankering to do it. So,
well, look, man, this is really, something. I appreciate you doing this. This means a lot to me because I did grow up listening to you, and you're an inspiration for me to want to get into radio. And it's really cool to kind of do radio as close as this is to it with you, even for a minute here. And I can tell you love it. I can tell you still got the passion for it. You're still hilarious. I don't know, man. It's.
I mean, listen. I've of course, since Frida died, I'm married to a wonderful woman, Janet, and we have a great life. We have 2 dogs, and my mother-in-law lives with me.
Oh, nice. So you got some content.
So
brimming with content.
I sure do. You have no flipping idea, and I have no one to share it with.
And you said Bart is how old now?
40.
It's so crazy. I remember hearing, just the kid voice on the radio all the time. Love you, Barty. Love you, Dad. It was awesome, man. 40-something. Now, what did he end up? Not you wanted to divulge too much. Did he go into entertainment at all, or did you follow after your footsteps at all?
Yes.
That's great.
That's all I'll say.
That's fine. Yeah.
I value his privacy.
Of course.
That's the one thing I always tried the most when I had him on the air was
that is a very interesting point that you bring up right there. I have friends that are in radio. I'm in radio. I have friends that do stand up, and it's like all is fair unless you say it's not. And then that's it. I don't need an explanation. You don't have to tell me why. If you say, please keep this off, that's it.
Right.
But if you don't, everything's coming out.
that was the plan, and still is the plan for every time I do a show. And the reason I like radio better than a podcast, like what you're saying here, is if something went wrong here, most likely you'd say,
edit it out.
Stop down.
Right.
Cut it out. Let's take a break. You can't do that.
No, I know.
You just have to go with it. I mean, there are so many great things that can still be done. I'll leave you with this one. One of the best things I ever did on the radio with Mike was I said at the beginning of a break, I'm going to bring our general manager in, Alan Linewan, and talk to him like I would talk to all the people from the station. One by one, I'm going to give everybody the stink eye, and I want you to leave one at a time, slowly leave the room as if you're going to do something else. And I'll keep talking to Al. So Rob left, and Charlie left, and then Mike got up and left. And Alan said, what's going on? I said, they're doing something in Buzz's room. And he could see them all in Buzz's room. Okay. Then what I did was I got up and left, and Alan was there in the studio by himself with a microphone on. And, most disc jockeys, if they thought to do that, a minute.
Right.
I left him in there 20 minutes. People from the station were coming to look at him in the hall, and he was like, I can't believe this is on the radio.
And did he just talk? Did he try to fill time?
Yes, he tried. This is Alan Linewan. It's a great time to buy commercials with Don and Mike and Howard Stern. And there's Don looking at me right now. And there's our sales manager, Robbie, coming down the hallway right now. I mean, it was.
You just let him sweat.
Because, again, that's what people relate to that. You're working with real people. That's my boss. I put him in a room with a microphone on.
It's so great.
And guess what? He can't get mad at me because that's the gig.
I'm telling you, I feel like a pupil because we do the same thing. Like the other morning when you come in and the water cooler's empty and nobody bothered to refill it, everything else on the day sheet goes away. And that's it's investigate. Correct. Who did it? Why did they do it? Why did they think they're better than me? Because they don't have to do it. I love that stuff, man. You're an absolute inspiration. Thank you so much for taking the time and hanging with us today.
You bet, buddy.
I do appreciate it, man.
Thank you.
Don Geronimo, thank you so much.
Thank you. Adios. Hire me.
Good, dude. That was fun, man.
Everybody.
That was really fun.